What's up, wrestling fans? As you saw, I put out I just CM Punk and Dom Mysterio had a nice little match at MSG the other day. When CM Punk first came back, a lot of people we talked about who CM Punk's first opponent should be. And of course, we talked about, Seth Rollins and that sort of thing. But I also brought up, hey man, Dominic Mysterio. I brought it up right from the very beginning. Go back and watch it. And I said a lot of people are going to laugh at me for this, but I think that CM Punk should work with Dominic Mysterio. I think that could be something pretty cool. And funny enough, CM Punk's first actual match back in WWE at MSG sold out the other night. They broke records the other night at MSG. If this was AEW, we'd never hear the end of it, but they did. They broke records the other night. I made a video with some commentary on it, put it on Twitter. If you haven't seen that, please go check it out. I'm sorry that I haven't done any videos, but with the Christmas time stuff, I've been slammed, and now I'm in the... I probably could have gone live last night, but I just wasn't in the right frame of mind, and I don't want to really say anything further, just that, everybody knows how I am at this point, and you wouldn't want me to come on live and just be a miserable person, so I didn't come on live. And who knows what the future holds for me, or, where I'll be, or what will happen, but so that's why. So maybe tonight I might be on, I don't know, it's 4 o'clock already, and, but, so, CM Punk and Ray, or Dom and Dominic Mysterio was great. We had some really good drama the other day, and, if I was not in a bad mindset, I would have come on here and talked about, the situation with Chris Jericho and Stephen P. New, the altercation that took place on Twitter, which is gold, by the way. In fact, I had clips of it out here somewhere where basically Jericho, I'm not even going to pull them up because I don't know where they are anymore, but basically Jericho, was like, I didn't sign any NDA, and Stephen P. New was like, check your employee handbook, stupid. And Jericho's like, I never signed or saw an employee handbook, so I don't know what that means. I don't know if there's an employee handbook out there that other people don't know about. I don't know did Tony Khan lie about the employee handbook? Is Jericho lying? Is Stephen P. New lying? But he basically then indicated that he would use Jericho's tweets as Exhibit A in some sort of a threat, some kind of legal threat. I don't really know exactly what that was about. But I don't know what to make of Stephen P. New. What I can tell you is WWE is killing AEW now. After AEW, really being awesome in this great new place, AEW has really turned into a cesspool of shit at this point. And just this online battle, ringside news, so many other people picking this up, of this fight that went down. Jericho stated that he did not sign an NDA, so he can speak about whatever he wants to, including the brawl that caused Stephen P. New to speak out about the matter. A famous attorney posted in a reply to Chris Jericho and said, "It's in your employee handbook unless you have a special one. We can figure it out." So apparently there may be some kind of a NDA that we don't know about that Stephen P. New has been briefed to, and maybe they caught Tony Khan in some kind of a lie about this whole thing. So I don't know, but the other thing is I don't know. Like I pretty much I think that right now Tony Khan and AEW look like assholes because the Young Bucks seem like pieces of shit. Kenny Omega kind of seems like he's in with a bunch of shitheads, and hope he gets okay, by the way. He's in the hospital still, I think. Tony Khan seems like he sided with the shitheads, and he did it against Cody Rhodes as well. So, guys like Cody Rhodes felt like they were up against it. They got out of there. And basically, it's the Clique. It's the Clique in AEW. The Clique is the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, and Kenny Omega. there's a new clique in town. And AEW, one of the Jackson brothers' wives, I think it was her wife. The wife is no longer the merchandiser as well. There's another thing. They didn't bring her back, or she quit. So like there's just so much drama in AEW. It is a nasty cesspool of shit at this point. Like there's got to be some people who are so happy now that they didn't sign with this company. Because unless you had nowhere to go, if you had nowhere to go and you were leaving a WWE or something like that, okay, understandable. You had nowhere to go. You needed to make money. You got signed by AEW. You're like, wow, this place is fucking terrible, but hey, I'm getting paid $100,000, whatever you're getting paid. So you're happy, right? But there's so many other people that like were close. And I'm going to put Mercedes Moné in that category. Sasha Banks is in that category to me. She is somebody that, my God, was she this close to being in AEW, and she still could go to AEW, and that could still happen, and maybe I'm missing something I don't know about, whatever. But man, it feels like that she pumped the brakes. Feels like WWE made some kind of an offer, reached out to her. They saw her on AEW TV. They saw everything that's going on. All the power is in the court of the WWE. Hell, if WWE could start a new company right now, I wouldn't even put it past them right now. You got WWE Raw, SmackDown, WWE NXT, right? But if WWE were to launch WWE like Rage or something like that, where it was a new company like their answer to Ring of Honor, and WWE launched WWE Rage, a new wrestling promotion that's, you know, available only on WWE YouTube and WWE Network on Peacock. It's a 1 hour special, weekly special, blah blah blah, where they basically just, you know, had this separate entity, but it was run by WWE. They could just sign almost everybody. You know, the only reason I think that they wouldn't just sign everybody is because they don't have to. WWE just doesn't have to do it. They don't have to sign anybody for the most part. Now, AEW is still doing well enough to produce a 700,000, 800,000 viewership on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights. But Collision is piss. Rampage is piss. AEW has overexposed itself in so many ways. By the way, real quickly, just want to pause. Guys, if you want to support me and you're still watching this, please think about becoming a patron. I need you guys. Like, I'm going to just tell you, I badly need you, especially $25 producers on Patreon. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Go there and become a patron right now. If you want to help me immediately and keep the power on, literally, I've got 3 days. PayPal.me/Joe Cronin Show if you want to send me direct support. PayPal.me/Joe Cronin Show or Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show, and you can become a patron. At least you get a whole bunch of stuff for donating. Or use the Super Thanks feature down below and drop a Super Thanks on this video. Anyway, back to my point. And click the like button. If you have nothing you can do, you can at least click the like button and share this everywhere. I don't know. AEW has massive issues. They really do. They're falling apart in so many ways, and I don't remember what I was going to say a minute ago before I went into this promo. But, like, they have problems in every way possible. Yes, they spread themselves, not thin, they spread themselves out too much. There's too much stuff going on in AEW. It's literally, AEW is like the American economy right now. It's out of control, right? You have a company that has created too many belts. There's too many belts in AEW. There's too many wrestlers in AEW. There's too many branches of AEW. There are too many of everything except pay-per-views. There's not enough pay-per-views, but there's too much of everything else. There's too many shows. There's just too much. And you can say, Ring of Honor is separate. Ring of Honor is almost like their SmackDown in a way or whatever, but it's not, because that's Collision. So it's not like that. But it's like their NXT is really what it is. But they are NXT themselves because that's the only company that they're really competing with is NXT. So they've spread themselves out. There's too many belts, too many wrestlers, too many shows, too many complaints. That's 4. Those are 4 massive negatives right now about AEW. Massive negatives. Real problem. Too many belts. Belts don't mean anything almost because there's too many. Well, I would argue this. The only belt that I care about is the AEW World title. So I will say one thing that AEW kind of has going for it is that to me, the AEW World title still kind of means something quite a bit to me. Maybe it doesn't to other people, but to me, the AEW World title still kind of means something. And it's really the only belt I care about. But what they have done is they've ruined all the other belts. There is no championship that I care about whatsoever. I don't care about the tag team belts anymore, really. Not that much, because they've introduced the trios titles. So that gets confusing. There's multiple tag team titles. It's confusing me. Then Ring of Honor has those as well. Then they've got the mid-card belts of the TNT women's this and the TBS one, and then the North American thing, and then the Continental thing, and there's the breakfast. I have no idea. I don't even know anymore. And there's a million tournaments everywhere, so I don't know what that's like. There's just way too much. Way too much. And it's not good, right? It's just not good. I understand why they do some of it, but it's just too much. You got to cut 30% of all of everything. Cut 30% of your shows. That means you're going to eliminate Rampage for sure, right? You want to keep Collision? I don't know, fine. Keep Rampage? I don't know. I just can't believe these are on the air. Under 400,000 views is on the air on a Friday night and a Saturday night. I mean, that's almost... We're lowering ourselves almost to Impact Wrestling. I just, whatever. You can argue about the too many shows. That's fine. The too many shows one is the one I would give you an exception. Because if there's revenue to be had and a TV network wants another show, okay, fine. That's money. If you're making money by adding a show and the network wants that, and you are obviously going to say yes, and everybody's going to make some kind of money out of it, well, okay. I mean, that's fine. I'm not going to... That's the one I would take off the table if I had to. You say pick one of those 4 things that have to go. Okay, I'll take off the table. The first thing I would take off the table is the network stuff and the shows. Okay, fine. Keep 3-4 shows. Keep Ring of Honor, Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, and Dark. You got 4, what is that, 4 shows? Rampage, Dynamite, Dark, Collision, Ring of Honor. That's 5. You got 5 shows, right? Dark, no one watches on YouTube. Who cares? Whatever. That's fine. That doesn't matter. It's not a real show. So 4. Fine. You can't get rid of any of those. That's fine. That's the one I'd concede. And then the number 2 least important is probably the wrestlers. You can have a bunch of wrestlers. Fine. You have too many wrestlers, whatever. That's not a bad problem to have. You get too many wrestlers. Okay. So those 2, I can sort of see. But there are too many belts. Way too many belts. And way too many people who are unhappy. And everything that I've said, by the way, and if you're still watching this video, I hope you are, and I hope you're sending it. I hope you're sending it to the Young Bucks and to Tony Khan and to everybody else, because this company didn't want to hire Joe. No, they wanted to hire Keith freaking Lee, right? You didn't want to hire me on commentary. Oh, it might be controversial, but Excalibur works there, and we know the things Excalibur said. But the bottom line is, Keith Lee, I told you from the get-go. People said that I was a scumbag. And you know what? I think a lot of people are going back to my Keith Lee video now, and they're realizing I was right. I'm wrong about a lot of things. You know what I mean? I'm wrong about a lot of things, but sometimes I get really upset and animated, and you can hear that in my Keith Lee videos when I crapped on Keith Lee. Because I found out who Keith Lee really is. I used to love Keith Lee, but I found out that Keith Lee is a guy who thinks he's better than everybody else, and that's why he didn't believe or buy into anything Vince McMahon was going to do for him, right? He existed pretty well in NXT for the most part, because in front of that little wrestling crowd of those type of people, under 1 million people, Keith Lee can get over and can get the job done because he's really athletic and tough, and he's fun in the ring usually. But now, man, Keith Lee is a shell of a man. Because we heard on the podcast with Jericho, Keith Lee complaining about the things that Vince McMahon wanted him to do, and he even laughed about it. I don't know what a bearcat is. I don't know what a... so weird. What an idiot. Basically sounded like he was smart and Vince McMahon's an idiot. Is Vince McMahon an idiot, really? Or are you an idiot? So Keith Lee, I called it from the get-go that this guy was garbage. Okay, let's see what he does in AEW. And guess what? They don't know what to do with him, or he doesn't know what to do with him. But what we do know is that Keith Lee doesn't like other people's ideas. And we know that Keith Lee's ideas for himself are shit. So if Keith Lee's ideas for himself are shit, and Keith Lee doesn't like listening to other people's ideas, and no one has an idea of what to do with Keith Lee, well, then this, my friend, is what you get for the last 3 years of Keith Lee. Biggest downfall in modern wrestling history. Santa Pink Hat is what you get. You get a directionless, don't believe anything he does or say anymore, overweight person. And I'm sorry, bro. You can think whatever you want. That's the facts. And I was right. And he'll still get a smattering of applause. Hell, I could even be in the audience and see him perform and do something in the ring that might pop me and I'd be excited. But as far as a character, it will never happen at this point. And I told you what you could have done with him years ago. Did anybody listen? No. Nobody listened to my ideas of Keith Lee. But you know what? Keith Lee didn't even listen to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's a god. You can make fun of Stardust all you want. Stardust was more over than anything Keith Lee has ever done, and maybe it looks like now will ever do. That's the facts. That's the facts. And I have countless examples of these situations where I said things, and then they came to fruition, and people all of a sudden wondered why. Wonder why Keith Lee sucks. Well, how did I know he was going to suck before he got there? I was wrong about Miro. I'll give you that. I was wrong about Miro. I thought Miro was going to be some amazing thing in AEW. Then he started the way he started. Then he continued the way he continued. Then he finally started doing pretty well because he was allowed to cut his own promos. And then all of a sudden he was slowed down again. And we don't know what's going on. What a mess this company is. And behind the scenes, people are pissed. People are coming to me. People are coming to me in DMs over this company. Tony Khan, you idiot. Love Tony Khan. He's given us an alternate of wrestling. I absolutely love that. And I still love Tony Khan for the fact that he's giving us an alternate wrestling company and that we have more stuff to talk about. Love it. I really love Tony Khan. I wanted to work for him really badly. But my God, is this a problem? There are so many problems. There are so many fires. It is unbelievable. And I don't want to be on here every day, every week, every month talking about it, but that's what's going on ever since we found out about how those muffins were from CM Punk. This company is in a fucking free-for-all. A free-fall free-for-all. It is on fire. AEW. I'm Joe Cronin. This is the Joe Cronin Show. Hope you subscribe if you're new to the channel. Watch more of my videos. And, of course, WWE the other night, Madison Square Garden, sold out, record-breaking. CM Punk received a customary gift plaque from Madison Square Garden. He was taken aback about that gift and very humbled by it, and we're very happy to receive it. It's on Twitter. You can check that out. Him and Dom put on a nice little match. I saw some people making fun of one point where CM Punk went for a clothesline, and it was weird. Well, when I called it on Twitter and I did the commentary and I put it on Twitter, I basically said, CM Punk went for a clothesline. Dom tried to avoid it. He didn't get all of it. And then they went for a swinging neckbreaker, which is what Dom thought the swinging neckbreaker was coming. It was actually a clothesline. That's why it looked kind of bizarre. Not a big deal, really. But somebody singled that out and was like, oh, what a fucking terrible. They did pretty good for going out there, looking like they didn't have much of a plan. They said, we'll do this, that, and the other thing. Okay, and then we'll go home. We'll get out of there. Great stuff. Rhea Ripley interfering. I thought it was well done. Nice enough. What a wonderful event. We would never usually get to see such crisp, beautiful footage from a cell phone camera back in the day, and it's certainly back in the day when there was no cameras really allowed in the buildings. So a wonderful shot. Madison Square Garden sold out, home of WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 10, and so many WrestleManias. It's just a legendary building. And it was nice to see that. And the event did record numbers. Unbelievable. I'll see you guys possibly tonight for AEW Dynamite or not. I don't know how I will, my mental whatever, but we'll see. I might be live tonight. We'll see about that. Leave me comments. Bye.